Welcome to the House of Cush, where the evolved hustlers come to learn more about astrology, rootwork, conjure, culture, and tarot. Now, today we will be focusing in on the Cush Almanac for the week ahead, guys. So hang tight for a little bit more information on the transits, as well as the collective reading to forecast for the week. But before I get started, again, welcome to my new listeners. I appreciate y'all for stopping through. And to my OGs, you know I love you so. Now, don't forget to follow, like, share, and subscribe, y'all. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You never know who can help. You know how we do. But yeah, today is Sunday, guys, and this is one of the biggest days of the week. Well, this is one of the biggest weeks, honestly, if you really want to think about it. And why do you say? Well, day traders, CEOs, founders, evolved hustlers, and creatives, you are upon one of the most potent manifestation windows of like this transit, right? The new moon in Gemini is favoring new starts, new beginnings, and giving you the opportunity to focus in on acquiring knowledge and building your community. There's a lot more chatter, there's a lot more networking, and there are some things that you can count on if you are willing to put in a good little bit of work, which for the past 2 or 3 weeks, that's exactly what we've been doing. We've been kind of discussing going back towards things we were doing before and maybe putting a new spin on it, and that's what's going to be mostly favorable. So at this time, it's like, okay, it's not very dramatic. It's not, it's not giving retrograde, even though we are in the shadow phase. But the sky shifts itself from being more so about information gathering into intention setting. So everybody knows new moon energy. If you don't know, now you know. It's about scribing, setting intentions, and manifesting new starts. Now, with it being in Gemini, it's giving you more visibility, more innovation, more audience growth, and strategic positioning. We've got more brand magnetism, and baby, you know how Gemini likes to be all innovative. And even though with the Mercury entering its retrograde shadow, as I was talking about in Cancer, you do have to be mindful of the seeds you plant this week, all right? It is going to pop back up when probably around July, right? You're going to revisit these subjects. Now, the future is going to belong to those willing to adapt before they are forced to. So there is a repeated theme of like, get down or lay down is what the divine is saying, if you will. Now, this new moon gateway, again, strong manifestation portal, right? You're going to have 3 days after today to pump in on that energy, so you can expect it to perfect a little later on today. Check your local time zone, and it's going to be very strong tomorrow as well. All right, now you are tapping in to something that is more complex when it comes to rewarding information leverage. We're getting out of this Taurus kind of sitting at moon. We're getting out of this Capricorn money moon, and we are thriving in areas of communication and education, as well as connecting ideas and building your audience. Like, you kind of set the tone, you kind of decided your systems, which that process it's a good deal, and now it's time to actually do so. What message do you want to become the movement for what you've set into motion, right? Now, we do know that Venus enters Leo officially, and this is one of the biggest business transits of the month. Why do you ask? Well, Leo shifts money and attraction towards creators, influencers, entertainers, speakers, educators, even luxury markets, leadership, and personal brands. All things Leo, right? This is not going to be your quiet prosperity moment. We're still shifting into more of a visible prosperity, right? Now, with Venus going sextile Uranus, which you guys know is in Gemini, we've been talking about that quite a bit when it comes to the trades and, different things like being able to be agile during change. Well, this is one of your more hidden opportunity transits. Now, this is going to bring you a very unconventional partnership, maybe even more innovative brand ideas, maybe even a social media breakthrough. You could go viral. There could be a unexpected client wave coming through. So this isn't where you're going to find predictability. It's kind of like that fast luck, that surprise money. So be open to receiving from unexpected sources, all right? Continue to pay attention, like I said, to unexpected invitations, the feedback you get from your audience, and any random conversations that you might actually have. Like, pay attention, right? Now, with the Cancer moon coming through midweek, tomorrow through the 17th, rather. Well, that's midweek, if you will. It's going to shift towards protection, home, family, foundations, and emotional security. There'll also be a focus on business infrastructure. So this is where entrepreneurs are going to need to hone in on retention instead of acquisition. We're still questioning, what are you doing to keep the clients that you already have? So that continues to be a repeated thing for this week. Do loyalty, do gifts, do, more personable insight to your brand. You can tell a thing without telling a thing. You can build lore without going way too deep. Now, if that's your thing, then go for it. But it could be done in a way. Like I say, it's more than one way to skin a cat. Now, market energy for my day traders this week is less about trend strength and more about your narrative shifts, like knowing when. Now, Uranus in Gemini is going to continue to create more information, volatility, and sudden sentiment changes. Now, there'll be more headline driven moves, so the news, all that is social media is very important. There's also a AI related market movement that's being created too, as well as rapid rotations. Now, this week's edge comes from you being flexible. The market lesson is you still do not marry the thesis. You date it. You question, what assumption am I treating as permanent? Like, is this the only thing? Now, we're still going to focus in on our CEOs and our founders. You guys focus on ownership. Get out of those 360 deals and own your distribution. How are you being put out into the world? A lot of times we've been dealing with the aspect of being silenced, and you look up and your accounts are gone, and the best way to do that, or glitches and stuff like that, you just never know. So just make sure, like right now, you're focused in on building your communities, building your websites and other places that people can find you, people can talk to you, and do that in a way that brings value to your customers. So don't focus on simply making better offers. You need to improve your discoverability first. All right, how are you distributing your content and yourself? Yes, we can continue the social media, we can continue to do certain things, but again, ownership. Get out of them 360 deals with Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, because you just never know. So be smart about that. Now, botanically, I got some new herbs for you guys. Let's see here that I want to chat about. And it's some new ones, so hang tight. We've got blackberry leaf for strengthening foundations and protecting growth. We've got honeysuckle for attracting opportunities through relationships. One of my personal faves, sassafras for clearing stagnation and opening new pathways. Then we've got yarrow for maintaining energetic boundaries while you expand with this Jupiter energy. And then finally, we've got cedar for building something intended to last. Honey. Okay, now let's get into the breakdown of the best days to do a thing. Now, your best days for prosperity are obviously going to be today and tomorrow, and not just because the money energy is strong, but it's because the new moon is favoring new networks. Get out there. Money is going to follow relationships this week. Work prosperity comes through referrals, partnerships, collaborations, and audience growth. So lean into that. Now, the best days for visibility, guys, are going to be the 16th through the 18th. It's not for selling or positioning. This is not even about conversion, y'all. This is more so about becoming memorable. You are becoming legend. That's how I put that. Now, your protection days are, you need to be a little bit more on your Zoom for protection on the 18th and the 20th, between the 18th and the 20th. Let me correct that. And I want you to focus less on spiritual attacks and focus more on protecting your time, protecting where your attention goes, protecting your focus, and, protecting your reputation. These are the real the real assets being highlighted by the transits. Okay, so 18th through the 20th, guys. All right. Run that back if you need to, because that's very important, especially with you setting an intention today. Now, days that you should exercise caution, the 17th and the 18th, because this Gemini energy, it creates a lot of information overwhelm, decision fatigue, and your focus could be scattered. So go ahead, get planned, go ahead and get your stuff scheduled, go ahead and kind of build some sort of strategy or system earlier during the week, and then by the end of the week, you ain't got to worry about the extra stuff that's going on. Now, people can accidentally sabotage themselves on days like this, so because you might think about pursuing too many opportunities simultaneously, but if you already got something set in stone, you really don't got nothing to worry about. Now, let's think about high energy ritual days, guys. So the 14th today, y'all know it's the new moon, so what better day than today? This is good for new direction work, not manifestation, but direction. We want to ask ourselves, what path deserves my energy for the next 6 months, right? You already know you can have your way, but how are you going to get there, and what is the strategy, what's the plan? So the decision has already been made, okay? We just need to know where we're going. Now, June the 16th is good for audience growth work, not necessarily sales. You want to focus more on influence, okay? Now, June the 19th is good for foundation work. This is good for doing maybe a prosperity floor wash. You could do that. Business stability work, wealth retention work. You can focus in on long-term success work. So honey jars are going to be available for you guys for prosperity and business work this week. Click the link in my bio to go ahead and grab you one so we can get you started. Now, I do want to look into, let me see, one month thing. I want to make sure we got you guys covered before we get into the extra transits of the time. Now, if you guys want to see this in its physical form, you can check out House of Cush Patreon, and there you will find it. Now, momentum wise, I do see the week beginning with this new moon and transiting into the waxing crescent phase as like the energy shifting from planting to finally building something. So the first half of our week is all about, what did I say? Intention, vision, and planning. And the second half is about getting on your Zoom. You need to jump on off the porch because we're doing execution, momentum, and growth, y'all. Yeah. Now, when you think of where your next level is, where is it hiding? It's hiding inside of your communication. All right. This new moon in Gemini is asking you to speak. It's asking you to learn. It's asking you to do something new. And when I say do something new, again, y'all know what I mean. Because we can talk about that, like a new way to do an old thing, if you will. I want to reiterate that. And that Venus in Leo is like, come on out, girl, be seen. Come on out, boy. Be seen. Your people want to meet you. We're waiting for you type vibes. And lean into that creativity. You might want to apply for grants, apply for a fellowship, our artist fellowships, and think about that. Again, networking is going to be a big deal. Now, Uranus and Gemini, we're still innovating and we're still embracing new technology and how we can utilize AI to our greatest benefit in terms of system and businesses. I got a dope system that I wrote down that you guys might like, and I am gonna put it on Patreon this week, so check that out if you're interested in building systems for your hustles and your creative projects and business that can help you, like with social media, just different things, right? Just check me out. Yes, now Cancer energy is coming through with you being more concerned about protecting what you build, and that requires a little bit of being on the need to know basis and knowing that you set a proper foundation, like committing to the thing. And we talked about that yesterday. 2 of you guys listened to part 1 and 2 of the almanac yesterday, talked about the aspect of like committing to the strategy and building. So I think that systems process that I like rambled on about a few seconds ago is like very important. Very important. Now, evolved hustlers, you don't have to worry about having the best of the best, like it being a perfect thing. Like, no. You just need to have a clear message and have some strong visibility here, and the discipline to nurture what begins growing, right? Now, again, we do have the list of the days where you're going to have the highest prosperity, the highest visibility, protection days, what's better for business growth, what's better for content days, and strategic planning. So check that out again on House of Cush Patreon. Now, I want to look into the exacts of today because it was quite interesting when I peeked a little earlier. I won't go all the way through the whole week because y'all know we do a daily almanac. Turn on your notifications. But we will get into logistics of today. Now, we are still in quite a bit of review and retrograde energy in the earlier phases of Aquarius, Pisces, and these are North Nodes and Pluto energy. So a lot of change is happening irregardless. Now, let me see what we got. 0 type energy, which is the most potent degree. It is exact. It is here not to play with you. Neptune sextile Pluto at 0 degrees, and we also have Lilith connects Mars, baby, at a 0 degrees. Woo. So you are being given the free will to change the course of your life or your plans. Learning new things, embracing new things, and the reason I'm playing it like that is because Mars is in Taurus as well, but Lilith itself is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is all about knowledge. It's all about freedom. It's all about being able to create. So acknowledge the things that you need to let go of to be able to go on this new path where things are worthwhile. You learn the lessons though, and I also feel like that Lilith and Sagittarius connects. Like it's like you learn the lessons, so now you're just applying it to the actions that you're doing today. Now these particular ones aren't orbiting at 0, but they are still significant. Chiron is quite busy. It's squaring Venus and Jupiter as well as Pluto, and Chiron is in Aries, so very aggressive, very passionate. Think do first, think later type of energy. You don't want to do that. You definitely want to face any childhood trauma that may be stopping you from advancing and expanding your community and accepting your blessings. And definitely don't resist the Pluto and Aquarius retrograde. Y'all know it's at 5 degrees, and 5 is for change. Y'all know I be reading the orbs and like numerology too, so it's quite interesting that Chiron is squaring Pluto at 5 degrees, and that's all about change and transformation and rebirth. So take it where it resonates. Now, Lilith is opposing the sun and the moon, so stay out your feelings and stay out your ego. That's the best way I read that for today. Let's see. Everybody else is pretty good. Venus is opposing Pluto at 3 degrees, so I feel like the mind, the body, and the spirit have to be aligned with where you're going, what you're doing. Otherwise, and it's kind of going against the grain with this Venus and Pluto energy. Venus and Leo, Pluto and Aquarius. So to be seen or not to be seen, that's the question. To be different or not to be different, that's the question, right? There's where it is. But that's what we got for today with the TV and clocks as such. Y'all know Sundays is all about confidence. Sundays is all about being seen. And it's just the perfect time. Like, it works. It works. Sundays is good for solving all your problems. If you want to approach your spirits, getting the favor of, more elevated spirits. So tap in for that. It is Sunday, right? Setting the intention for the week. It's a catch-all day too. So if you are into the woo and maybe you missed out on the working, Sunday is a great day to do pretty much all workings, right? So go ahead and get prepared before sundown, okay? Cleanse and protect first, but after that, put in that work and try to follow those guidelines that I kind of gave you guys, so your workings and your petitions will hit, okay? I think that more or less than not, this taught us that faith without works is dead. So now that you know that, it's like, boom. Okay? But I am going to go ahead and pull a few cards. Oops. I hope you guys can hear me. I'm going to pull a few cards for the week ahead. And we're going to start with the elevated ancestors. Thank you, spirits, for opening the roads for me on behalf of the tribe. Thank you so much for coming and protecting us as we go on this journey. Thank you for the gift. We want to use the gift. We honor it, we appreciate it, and we respect it. Now, what guidance do you have for us for this week as we move through this new moon in Gemini? Now, I was picking up quite heavily that we're still in the aspect of you having to move independently, because these people or these situations around you are not balanced. They don't care the same way you care. Like, this is a dream that you are going to have to pursue, like, independently. And you got to be okay with that this week. Now, overall, yeah, there's a relationship or a contract that's being broken here. And somebody was quite stubborn about it. It was stagnating you down for the past 4 months. Could be with a father of coins in reverse, a earth sign masculine. This person is a business owner or someone who's all about the money, but not in the greatest way. There was a cycle that was continuing with this individual, and you may have petitioned for some sort of assistance or help. Well, that load is going to be lifted over the next 10 days, okay? The load is going to be lifted over the next 10 days. And if you need to, actively go towards your spiritual team and let them know, like, this King of Pentacles in reverse energy is not working. Even if it's not a person, if it's just an archetype within you, take it where it resonates. You don't want that spirit following you. So they're saying just know when to ask for help when it comes to that. All right. Now, past... yeah, there's something changing. You may have decided to change your methods. I got the 7 of Knives. 7 weeks ago, maybe you could have decided that you would change things. You would switch up your style. Yeah, you had a hard time letting go of the fact that something wasn't working. Could have been a job or a career or a business partnership. Something could have happened 3 years ago, and you've been heavily in your head about it over the past 9 weeks, especially when it comes to making your plans. But no fear, we have the big queen, so Aries energy here. There is a Empress. You gotta step into your leadership, right? This isn't about you cowering down. This is about you stepping into your leadership and being cool with the response. What they say, heavy is the head to wear the crown, but you're quite refined for this. Presently, there are some things that could be being exposed, a little bit of oppression to be had via lies. And tell me more about that. It's not something that you have to deal with. Maybe you've decided to move on mentally. You strategized how you're going to move on from this. Could be a Capricorn here. Now, presently, this Capricorn energy, this devil energy here, there's a focus. Somebody is definitely getting something that they deserve. Yeah, their plans have been slowed down. You could have been very loyal and kind to this individual, and they could have refused to assist you. Their financial situation is about to change for the worse. This relationship is beyond repair, and the reason being is because this person was trying to sacrifice you, or you were having made too many sacrifices. Pisces is significant. Yeah, the sacrifice would have been you would have had to go into the dark. You would have to go into hiding. This person would have been very controlling with the Sun card in reverse to the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, they would have been real controlling. You dealing with somebody trying to get you to hide your shine. That's why. Tell me about the collective energy. Yeah, there is a new opportunity brewing with the Ace of Pentacles here, and it could take time, but you are in a space where you're in this King of Swords energies, air sign masculine, so you're planning for things that actually are going to produce results, is what I pick up from that. They don't want you to be impatient like you were in the past. It makes you restless and your plans don't work out. Taurus could be significant. Yeah, you need to let go of this. There is a feminine here too. I'm picking up a feminine energy around you. It could be a high priestess in reverse. This person could be quite bitter. You're also needing to sever ties with them over the next 3 weeks. Sever ties, yeah, walk away, 8 of baskets in the reverse. You've got to let go of this codependent relationship to find harmony, okay? Yeah, this could be magic being done, or maybe you're doing magic. You've actively been doing something recently. Gemini could be significant here. This moon, you're doing some magic. You've made a decision, Libra, that this person is not going to protect you in the long run. There's a lot of family shame and instability. And it's time for you to build a new life. 4 days. Things are going to be moving along quite quickly now for you. A person could be passing, or an ancestor could be helping. Yeah, somebody's passing. This is going to be in the end. Scorpio energy for a toxic family member. She could be very selfish, not very nurturing. Someone can't take care of themselves. This could be a Scorpio energy. Take it where it resonates. Also, this is an Aquarius energy. Somebody doesn't want you to know what they've been doing recently here. 8 days. Someone could be trying to mend a relationship because they didn't want to be held responsible. There's a lot that you don't know. You think you know, but you have no idea. Yeah. You've been quite strong in the face of everything that's been going on, and they see you as successful. They see you as someone they respect. That Leo energy this week is going to continue to give you the courage to show up, as your higher self, and you're taking the active, thing to do so. Yeah, you're making quick decisions and real decisions over the next 2 to 6 days, okay? Near future, the Queen of Swords in reverse here. This person, in the past, they could have been quite manipulative. They could have been even quite gossipy, maybe even a hidden enemy. But seems there's a Father of Sticks in reverse. He's a fire sign here. Yeah, this person could have been being controlled by this masculine, trying to stop them from executing some sort of plan. This person was not in a safe space, and this caused a great misfortune here. And this is why this person is been acting like this. They've been moving and not talking. Moving and not talking is a thing. Yeah, right after moving and not talking, y'all, Sun and Knives and the Pot card came out. So that's the Moon card in this deck. You're doing a lot of moving, but you're not doing a lot of talking, okay? That's the thing. I'm going to leave it right there with the ancestors. They saying, let that go. And let's see what the guys have to say about this week. Moon, Monday could be quite interesting. That could also signify some things happening Monday. Somebody's not telling you that they're doing, and unfortunately they've lost their protection. They could be stuck at a crossroads, again, due to some sort of karmic fire sign masculine or karmic air sign feminine in your vicinity. Ooh. I hope this ain't y'all. Help though. Help is on the way, thank God. But it's because you actively are pursuing this, right? You doing this, you helping yourself. Help me help you. That's what the spirit said right now. Help me help you, baby. That's what they want you to know this week. tell me about the guides. Yeah, there's a betrayal here, 10 of 9s, that could be happening within the home the next 4 days. You are going to need to be strong. There is a sense of burden here, Leo energy, and heartbreak. Heartbreak could be happening. Breaking up is hard to do. But this breakup saved you. It saved you. Somebody has escaped some form of poverty or being left out in the cold. A King of Cups in reverse could have been very toxic to the family. This Cancer energy, this Pisces, or what is it? Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, masculine energy. Yeah, there was a lot of toxicity. There was a lot of drama. Somebody was very focused on money at the end of the day. They've got their eye on the prize. They failing, though. They failing. Somebody's health is failing. It'll fail over the next month. They need some money. They're going to need some money to get away. Somebody's going to have to give you some money. Maybe. 6 of Pentacles. What's this? 5, 6, 7, 8 of Cups to the Queen of Pentacles. Somebody may be being paid here. They're going to have to give it up. Make peace with the fact that you're taken care of. Everything's going to work out. You're not going to have to work very hard over the next 6 to 7 years. And you're going to have a lot of opportunities because this Queen of Swords in reverse, whatever she's done to manipulate a situation is going to be exposed. That information is going to come quickly over the next 6 weeks, for real. 6 weeks, Cancer season. There's also air sign masculine. He's back again. Be mindful of that person, whoever's making some form of decision. I'm also seeing lawyer. Yeah, somebody could be manipulating information and letting it get you to accept an offer. That Sagittarius energy, y'all. In reality, this is a decision, yeah, made by Queen of Wands in reverse. She's trying to manipulate a decision or control someone's decision by giving them a task. She's paying them or giving them some form of task to complete. And this Emperor in reverse, he's a false leader, and this person doesn't even know it. It's an Aries. He could be lying or refusing to speak. Somebody's refusing to speak. They have been giving away something, and they don't have any. They're not making any money. Like, they're giving away money, and they're not making any money, and they're hurt. Again, this person could be sick, and they can't move forward with this anymore. They can't keep going. So this King of Wands has made a decision to do the noble thing, and, you know, maybe in the past quite irresponsible. A lot of internal battles because there was to be some lying here that caused this misfortune. So they'll try to make peace just to get out of feeling bad or get out of their head. Yeah, they're going to do this, maybe come towards you in about 3 days. But there's some baneful magic from the past. A Gemini, and they could be trying to come, like, realign with you, but it's not genuine. It's not genuine. Yeah, they're hiding something. A Leo could be significant. A Gemini is significant. Somebody could have done something illegal when they were younger. Yeah, and they've been sitting on this information for a while. Could have lost some money or lost out on some opportunities. Yeah, it's something they've been battling here. They thought they were winning, but they're going through a tower, baby. This cycle is closed out. So whoever that, it could be, take it where it resonates. A Leo from your past, Libra, Gemini. Yeah, somebody, you switched the game up on this. Yeah, somebody could be thinking quite negatively because they haven't been able to pursue a goal recently. There was a little bit of a delay here, but it's all in your head. Continue to be patient, and when you take action, make sure you move with your gut, move with your intuition. A lot of things have been slowed down because of it's a Virgo and it's a Capricorn. They could have been hiding something, detached, in hermit mode, 10-on-1. Yeah, you've been seeing this person. Somebody's been watching you, though. They've been watching your life, watching what you do. They're worried about a contract ending with a lover or partner. Yeah, this person could have taken action. This earth sign, he did something, and he may be concealing or hiding some money from a group, a third party. And this person, that's why they couldn't collaborate with you. They was gonna lose this battle, so they chose themselves. And now somebody's job, their plans aren't following through. Their plans aren't going through. So the action, whatever they did, it ain't your word. Yeah, somebody doesn't regret, because what they did to you, they don't even regret it. They don't regret it, and you won't regret choosing yourself this time frame either. You don't need to be sitting in this hangman, martyr energy, stuck. Yeah, they took this action. They did this shit on purpose. You need to know. If you're valuing your relationships, and allyships, you need to know. This energy, they did that shit on purpose. Yeah, this relationship won't evolve. That's why that contract, that agreement is just not going to go through. They're unevolved. They came out unevolved again. Pisces is significant. Yeah, they came out unevolved. This person doesn't believe what you do, and that's just what it is. And they're very inspired by hate. This person's inspired by hate. There's a lot that has come out, and this person could have tried to minimize it as if maybe they weren't playing any games, but it was a lot that was going unsaid just to keep the peace. This person could have exercised a lot of patience, and your spirits. At the end of the day, they realized that some things had changed and you were not following your instincts, so they stepped in. Yeah, they made a power move. They said they made a power move because this person was trying to consume their blessings. Ooh, so if you feeling like your spirits intervened recently in this situation, or you feel them intervening this week, like divine intervention, like she just not going right, and you like, why is this not happening? It's because you got a lot of manipulation around you from the past, confirmation, and they trying to keep you out of trouble. Yeah, creating something with a Capricorn. Create something. No deal. Yeah, there's something, a past relationship that was blossomed. This person was very brave, but thought they could be brave. The spirit said, no deal. They can't deal with you. No adapting. Yeah, this person was, yeah, you were being protected. I got defend in reverse to protect in reverse. So you were being protected from whoever that was. Now, a situation has grown weak within the family. It could be a family issue. Somebody's trying to be cunning, but it's not working because they've been quite unkind, and they cannot seem to shake that was revealed to you. Their mask has fallen off, and they can't give you anything. They can't give you the balance that you need. So you need to be mindful of it when it comes to relationships today. Libra and Taurus energy. A Sag could be observing. Maybe you're observing someone who's not happy. But this person is afraid of dying. They're afraid of death. They fear death. They're afraid of death. And they are not getting a rebirth until they heal. They've been operating out of a trickster spirit. And this person could try to collaborate with you to get your wisdom. But there's a lot going on beneath the surface. Trust. Yeah. You getting out of this though. Trust that you've been freed. This person's lost. Their intentions were bad, so you can be confident. This person is careless. Very careless with their feelings, their emotions, the things that they nurtured, and you need to be on your Zoom, so do the exact opposite. Careless. Be mindful of careless confidence too. Also picking up, people could have bad intentions. They want to see you lose. See, the real freedom is in trust and being still. That's the wisdom there for you. Yeah, be mindful of those collaborations. People trying to trick you into thinking they heal. Yeah, but they're being destroyed. Baby, death is at their door, and they are afraid. Yeah, they unhappy. That's why they keep coming after you. That's why. I mean, I don't know if you may find solace in that, but it's like the underlying vibes this week of why, a lot of people be wanting to know why. I feel like today was one of those like why days, and maybe you can apply some of that transit information to move through the what and when now, because there's definitely people that you shouldn't be collaborating with, and you have been avoiding getting rid of these people, and it looks like it's a 10 of knives situation, 10 of swords, where you need to exercise discernment, and free yourself, and you may need to go into hermit mode for a bit, and maybe that wasn't a part of the plan initially, but somebody could have been trying to force something, for some form of assistance or help. Yeah, and it has them quite emotional and upset, and because they're trying to control someone as if they are a child. Yeah, ideally you wouldn't be talking to this person, period. That's gonna be the wisest move here, being emotionally intelligent, because they are trying to sow like chaos. Okay, and this is an unaligned relationship or friendship, and that's the truth. Yeah, it was never their goal, never their plan. This person's delusional. I'm seeing sickness here. They are very morally corrupt right now, and this is justice being served on behalf of your spiritual team, because this was a John Horse in reverse, an Emperor in reverse. They thought they was gonna make progress being a false leader, a bully, and they're just not going to get what they want. They're not going to be able to bring that to fruition because of the way they operate. So yeah, if you were wondering how goes it, that is how it goes. And I'm going to close that out. Thank you, spirits, for continuing to allow us to stand at the crossroads. I do know that their efforts have failed, and the only way that you could find yourself falling victim to those circumstances is by continuing to give these energies grace and not set the proper boundaries. And that's what that Cancer energy is coming through to do this week. Like, don't be careless, but definitely be intentional. There's a lot of things that you're realizing these people they're unwilling to do, or they just simply aren't up for the journey, and you're only holding yourself back by continuing to stay in those spaces. And we talk about that quite a bit. We deal with a lot of release, a lot of transformation work here, a lot of refining. So, I'm not surprised at the theme. Be mindful of those energies that you need to be watching out for, those you maneuver throughout the week. This can be geared towards your personal life or your professional life. So definitely take it where it resonates, hell, or it could be a blend of both, to be for real. It's a blend of both. But yeah, thank you guys for checking me out. I appreciate y'all for tapping in today. Again, don't forget to show your girl some love. Hit that heart, hit that like. Let me know what your plans are for this week, and if you feel comfortable. And yeah, we're gonna chat soon. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Yeah, love you, mean it. Bye.